Hello, thanks for watching this video. We're going to talk about the top 10 features you should be using in Be Engaged. Now, rather than being a demo-based video and showing you how to use these different features we're going to talk about, this is going to be more of an informational-based video where I talk about the features themselves and show you where to find them, as well as why you should use them in Be Engaged. We're going to start at number 10 and work our way up to number 1. Now, before we jump in, just a quick note that almost everything on this list, you'll need to have officer access of a group to be able to find and to be able to use properly. If you need officer access to your group and Be Engaged, feel free to email us at beengaged@binghamton.edu. You can also email us if you are a member of a group or an office that needs a group in Be Engaged created for you. Let's get started with number 10, tracks and checklists. We're going to head to our group. And to find tracks and checklists, you're going to head to the left-hand menu, scroll down to More Tools, and click Tracks and Checklists. Now, tracks and checklists are a semi-labor intensive feature of Be Engaged because you have to build out every item of your checklist and every checklist of your track, since a track is just a series of checklists, in order to officially be done and assign these tracks or checklists to people. But it's definitely a worthwhile feature to use and to invest the time in if you have a series of requirements for your members, or maybe you're a member of a staff and you have a series of steps that you want student staff to take before they're officially onboarded, or maybe you just have a fun checklist you want to make sure that your other members get to enjoy. You can see under this group, we have a few tracks and checklists here. So we have our Tour BU track, where you can see our checklists, our academic buildings, research facilities, and residential communities. As you scroll down, you can see freestanding checklists, like our Binghamton University bucket list, the Be Engaged new student checklist, and our Be Engaged officer checklist as well. You can preview your tracks and checklists by clicking this preview button, and it'll bring up exactly what users who the checklist is assigned to or who the track is assigned to will see on their home dashboard. You can also see if the items are available for the user to check off, or if check off or completion is dependent on something else. And if you click completion next to any track or checklist, you can see what percentage each user who the track or checklist is assigned to is at in terms of their completion. Heading back into tracks and checklists for the last thing, to set up completion rules for each of the items, you'll see if you click the checklist name, you'll be able to see within the checklist and see each item on the list with any completion rules associated with that item right next to it. And completion rules can be set and dependent on a bunch of different factors. You can make them as simple or as complicated as you want. The best thing to remember about tracks and checklists is just to start small, start with your items, then figure out completion rules, And then decide if you want to keep your items within a single checklist or to branch out and make multiple checklists and add them all to one track. Moving on to number 9, service hours. You might not know, but you can track service hours within Be Engaged. So if you're an officer of a group whose members occasionally or regularly do community service hours, whether that's on campus or out in the community itself, you can track all of that within Be Engaged. There's a few elements to that. So I'll show you where to find the different places where you'd be able to track your service hours and also list any of your group's events that might be service opportunities. So after logging into Be Engaged, if you head to this left-hand menu and click My Involvement, and then My Service Hours underneath that, you'll see a list of service hours here that I've already input into the system. To input those hours yourself, you'll just click this Add Service Hours button and fill out the associated form with whether your service hours are experience-based or event-based and dependent on an event that's listed within Be Engaged, which you can find here. If you're an officer of a group and you head to your group and head to More Tools on the left-hand menu and then click Service Hours, you'll be able to see any service hours your members have attributed to your group that you can verify or unverify. And you'd also be able to add service hours for your members by filling out the same form we just saw, just in a different interface. You can also upload member service hours in bulk by clicking Upload Service Hours and downloading a spreadsheet template that the system provides. And lastly, listing your events as service opportunities is just a field you check off within the event creation form. So next to your event name, you'll go into your event creation form by clicking Edit and selecting Advanced all the way at the bottom. And under Service Opportunities, if your event is a service opportunity that you want other users in Be Engaged to see and find, you'll click Yes, click Save, and right off of the home page on that left-hand menu, under Service Opportunities, you'll be able to see your event listed there. And every other user in Be Engaged will be able to see your event and any other service opportunity events listed there as well. Number 8 on our list is group surveys or group forms. To find them, you'll head to your group in the left-hand menu and then click Surveys and Forms. You can create a survey or form by clicking this purple Create button and deciding from the list of options they provide what you want to create. You'll see you have the opportunity to add introduction fields and to choose from a variety of questions to create simplified forms that you can send out to just members or maybe a bigger population. And you can assess those results right in Be Engaged. If we go back to surveys and forms, When we click on the name of a survey, you'll be able to preview people's answers to this form. And we'll also be able to preview the form itself. Creating surveys and forms in Be Engaged is easier than creating forms in Google Forms, or maybe I'm biased, but that's just my opinion. The system makes it super easy to share these forms as well, with a custom link for each form, as well as a custom QR code associated with the form that users can scan to pull up the form on their phone or any other device and fill it out. One of the best features about using surveys and forms, or one of the best perks, is that you can also run your elections in Be Engaged using this feature. There's a designated election question right here that allows you to input the position the person's running for and to find the person in the field next to candidate just by searching their email. You can also search by first and last name. So creating your ballot and sending it out should be no problem at all. And once you're done, you'll be able to assess the results and approve or deny results, as well as include notes right here. On to number 7, the group page. You'll find it under Dashboard, Group Page. The group page is a hub within your Be Engaged group meant for just members and officers. Here, you can encourage interactions between members and officers, or just between members, just between officers, in the different channels you can create, or feeds, where officers can pose questions, members can comment, and so forth. You can also customize your group page using these links at the top and by heading to Settings and deciding what links you want visible at the top menu. And if you want to edit any of the link names, icons, add a specific description, and more. The information on each of these pages is pulled in from the different sections of your Be Engaged group. So the more you add to Be Engaged, the more will automatically be pulled into your group page. And the more informational your group page can be, in addition to being a place for engagement within your Be Engaged group. Number 6 on our list, if we head back into the group, are the email tracking statistics associated with every email sent through Be Engaged. You can see at a glance after an email is sent, you have some basic information here under this email section, providing the date and time the email was sent on, the recipients, the number of recipients, as well as the percentage of opens, any unsubscribes, and any clicks. This is just a high-level overview of the stats, which you can get an even further and more granular breakdown of those stats if you click this Opens and Clicks button. Here, you'll be able to see a list of all of the users who opened your email, any who didn't open, how many times they opened it, and any links they clicked on. You can also break that down using the filters at this top bar here. And you can resend your email if need be to any people who didn't open it. There's also another designated section under emails tracking that provides even more stats based on user and how many emails they've been sent by your group, as well as how many they opened, how many times they clicked, and so forth. And again, you have these filters at the top where you can filter by account type, by different tags, and more. So that was number 6. Moving on to number 5 is under the member section. Member tags and subgroup tags. So member tags, as you can see right here, are tags that officers create in a group and that officers assign to members and that only officers can see. The process for creating them is pretty simple. You'll just click this Edit Member Tags button. And from this dropdown, you'll click Create New Member Tag. And from there, you'll create your tag, you'll save it, and you can assign it individually or in bulk to any users you need to organize with that specific tag. Subgroup tags, on the other hand, officers create and officers assign them. You can see a subgroup tag right here. However, subgroup tags function differently than member tags because subgroup tags everyone can see. Members can also opt into subgroup tags on the group page. So they're useful if you're trying to build up a newsletter list or if you're trying to encourage engagement in the system and you want to differentiate between specific people who want to use the system for engagement and maybe those who don't, as an example. The process for creating subgroup tags is almost exactly the same. You'll click that same edit button beneath the tag, click Create New Subgroup Tag, and follow the process from there. The only difference in assigning subgroup tags versus member tags is that member tags can be assigned in bulk to a bunch of people all at once, whereas subgroup tags cannot. And if we head back to the group page, you'll be able to see on this right-hand side, if we scroll down, right here, there would be a section to opt in to any subgroup tags. Moving on to number 4, getting closer to number 1, the number 1 feature you should be using. The number 4 feature is the Event Kiosk QR code. So let's head to events first. And we'll use this event as an example. So every event in Be Engaged has a QR code associated with that event. You can find the event's specific QR code by clicking this Copy Link button, or you can find the event link and the event QR code right on top of it. And you can click it and pull it up in another screen. And you can also find the QR code under the event name right on the right-hand side on the events list. You can see every event here has a QR code associated with it. Now, that QR code, the event QR code, can be used for check-in for events. The only thing is that in order to check in using an event QR code, you have to sign into Be Engaged first. So if you have the Be Engaged app called Campus Groups, it isn't a problem because you're always signed in and you can easily check into events that way. However, if you don't have the app, it requires you to scan the QR code, to log into Be Engaged, to do your two-factor authentication, or to grab a code from the system in another way, and then to log into Be Engaged before registering for the event if you haven't registered, and then being able to check yourself into the event. So there's a whole lot of steps associated with checking in with the event QR code. That's where the kiosk QR code comes in. So a kiosk, if we head to this track attendance button, the self check-in kiosk is a freestanding link, a freestanding screen that allows users to easily check into events with or without having registered ahead of time and without even having to log in to Be Engaged. So if we click the self check-in kiosk option, you'll see there's a separate link from the event link here. And there's also a separate QR code. So if we pull up the QR code, you can see it looks similar, but this QR code is associated with the kiosk, not with the event. So if you were to scan this QR code, it would bring you to the kiosk screen, not just the main event screen in Be Engaged. So if we click copy kiosk link, we'll pull it up here. This is the kiosk. And by scanning this or by plugging this link into your phone, your tablet, computer, any other device, you would be able to type your name in and log right into your event. And that's how you check yourself in using a kiosk. And any user, like I said, whether they've signed in to Be Engaged or not, whether they've registered for the event or not, is able to utilize the kiosk and check themselves in with either the QR code or if they have the link, with the link as well. On to number 3. We'll head back into Be Engaged. Sign back in. Since anytime you open a kiosk and Be Engaged, you have to log back in, since technically you're logging out of the system. And we're going to go back to our group, our events, and we're going to click the edit button and head all the way down to the advanced section, actually the very bottom option, event templates, for our number 3 feature you should be using in Be Engaged. So if you have a recurring event, like a recurring chapter meeting or a recurring community service event, maybe you do chapter meetings every week, maybe your community service event is every semester, maybe it's every month, or maybe you have an event, you're an office and you have an event that you host every single semester without fail for students, you should use this event templates feature. So what this feature does, after you've filled out this entire event form, and at the very bottom, you click Make this event an event template for this group, all of the settings within your event will be saved. And you can refer back to that template again and again for as often as you have your recurring event. So when you click Save, after you designating you want to make this a template, and you head back to events, the next time you go in to create your event and you click Create Event, you'll be able to see all of your templates listed here. We have a bunch in this group for our one each for our recurring trainings that happen every semester and or every year. And if you click on it, it'll just take you into your event form, and you'll be able to fill out the form from there. Now, the number 2 feature that you should be using in Be Engaged is right at the top of the event creation form, and that is event tags. So if you click the event tags drop down, you can see there are a ton of tags listed here. This is what event tags look like when you assign them to your event. But you can see that the event tags field doesn't have a red star, which means if I tried to create this event without filling out those fields, it wouldn't actually let me create the event. Event tags are not required, but they are super, super helpful for getting your events more exposure and actually affecting change at the university. So what I mean by that is that students who go into Be Engaged can find events more easily based on event tags if they're in the events calendar, because they can filter by tags. So if we open up the events calendar, you can see at the very end here, there is an event tag drop down. So if I was just looking for events that were fundraising events, I could click that tag and find all of the events going on that are fundraisers. If you are looking for events associated with a specific group that's a big Be Engaged user, like late night, for example, I could check off all the late night events that apply to what I'm looking for. And I could see the events that I want to go to. So that's on the user side of things. At the university side of things, event tags are super valuable and helpful because it allows our office and other offices on campus to head into Be Engaged on the admin side of things and to pull events easily based on how they're tagged. And when I say pull events, I mean pull the information about the events. So when the event happened, how many people attended, especially if you're tracking attendance and Be Engaged. We talked about those kiosk QR codes a little while ago. And with all that information, the university can see the kinds of events that are happening on campus, what students are engaging with, and we could designate more funding for those kinds of events. We could create new positions to facilitate putting on more events like that or serving students in a way that aligns with those kinds of events and so forth. So the small steps you take when creating your events and Be Engaged, especially with assigning event tags, go a long way. That's why they're our number 2 feature on this list of the top 10 things you should be using in Be Engaged. But far and away, the number one thing you should be using in Be Engaged is the Be Engaged app, which I briefly mentioned a few minutes ago. The Be Engaged app is called Campus Groups. It's all one word, and you can download it for free in the App Store or the Google Play Store. And this is actually a flyer with these basic instructions that take you through how to download the app. Now, when you download the app, if you're an officer of a group, which as I mentioned at the very beginning, all of these features you would need to be an officer to be able to utilize. The app has 2 sides to it. So if you're a student user, you can utilize the app, explore events coming up, explore your co-curricular transcript, check into events. You can do a lot of things with the app on the user side of things. On the officer side of things, you can do even more. You can edit your events. You can find your group easily and add members. You can check people into your events. You can check to see who read your emails that you sent out via Be Engaged, check those stats like we talked about. You can check different surveys that you've sent out and send those links to people. There's so many benefits to using the Be Engaged app. Again, it's called Campus Groups, and it's free on the App Store and Google Play Store, and definitely a worthwhile investment to make. And there really is, in terms of money, there's no investment, but in terms of time, there's a little bit of an investment to download it, to log in, and to explore a little bit and get the lay of the land. But once you have it, once you've downloaded it, you'll be thankful you did. So you can download it to your phone, or if your office or club has specific devices you use that the club or office owns, like a tablet or an iPad, you can download the app on those devices and then just use it again and again and again for your different events, at your different meetings, and so forth. And that is our list. So to run through those one more time, from 1 to 10, number 1 feature that you should be using in Be Engaged, the Campus Groups app. Number 2, event tags. Number 3, event templates. Number 4, the event kiosk QR code, or just the event kiosk in general. Number 5, member tags and subgroup tags. Number 6, email tracking statistics. Number 7, the group page. Number 8, group surveys or forms, where you can also run elections. Number 9, service hours and service opportunities. And number 10, tracks and checklists. Since this was more of an informational video as opposed to a demo video, I want to direct you to the Be Engaged Training Hub on YouTube. This training hub is filled with videos, dozens of videos that take you through how to do every single thing I mentioned today. Maybe not how to download the Campus Groups app, but we do have instructions for how to do that as well if you need those. We even have playlists designated for specific features in Be Engaged. So we talked about service hours. We have a whole service hours playlist. Group management, that's all about managing your members. So assigning those subgroup tags and member tags, filtering people by those tags and emailing them, as well as adjusting your group page. We have a whole tracks and checklists playlist, a whole surveys and forms playlist, including a video all about running elections. The emails playlist, which takes you through how to send an email from start to finish, how to schedule an email, how to create templates and newsletters. Attendance tracking, with one all about using the kiosk and making sure it's set up correctly. Events, which talks about creating event templates, assigning event tags, and more. And lastly, system basics. So how to log in to Be Engaged, how to find your co-curricular transcript, and a bunch of other things as well. So we hope you enjoyed this video. And if you have questions, feel free to reach out to us directly at beengaged@binghamton.edu. And make sure to check out and subscribe to our training hub on YouTube. Talk to you soon.